What you're looking at now is one of a kind. This artwork took me 2 months roughly, but that is with breaks and something going off really. The 1 hour of all I do a day. But yeah, this is the result. We're just going to talk about it first. Now, firstly, the name. I got this name because when I was going through therapy, I was struggling with insomnia, and that was because of stress, supposedly. And it was making it hard to sleep. It took hours to sleep, maybe sometimes more, but that was rare. But I needed a way to cope, and it was tough because I couldn't cope. There was nothing that could help until I was introduced to imaging, and therapy was useless, by the way. But this was one of the things that I found useful because it worked as a stimulant, something that I could focus on that helps me relax and sleep. Basically, my therapist asked me what the most relaxing place was, and I said Santorini, Greece, because I think that place is gorgeous. But the problem with imaging is that if you're trying to relax, it needs to be something not very stimulating. But the problem is that I don't know how to relax, so that's kind of tough. But then again, my logic sort of turned to, well, maybe this is like counting sheep, because counting sheep is occupying your mind, making it work until you tire yourself out. So why not look at a landscape until I tire myself out? So I did that, and it sort of helped. It wasn't perfect, but it did something. That's the important thing, and that's why it's called sleep. As for how I developed it, it started out at Santorini, Greece, with like the cliffs and the distant islands. But then it became something more. I realised that I could get creative and use imaging, and I ended up creating this sort of fantasy world, which was bloody crazy. Then you've got the sandy beach, you've got the sort of hills of buildings in Santorini, you've got the zeppelins, got the bridge. It just looks crazy. And because I'm not good with perspective, it does look a bit off, but this is roughly what I thought it should look like. And fun fact about this, I tried to AI generate it to see if I can get a reference image or edit it to make it work. It's too creative and complicated for an AI generator. This is what I think human artists, or artistry, or whatever you call it, is going to be superior for many years. You probably can't get a lot to make this. I mean, AI art, yeah, it's crazy. And originally I had this set up at night, and then it became sunset because that just felt relaxing to me. And then it just turned into day, and I have a filter for that. And the thingy, that became this. And I think this kind of looks better. Yeah, and I'll go through the process really. Started with a bunch of sketches, to be honest, and they weren't great. Don't know where they are. Looking at references, sketch. No, it's not in there for some reason. I have these references. I've got an old artwork which is based on it, but not as good. Just strange looking. And this was like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe more. It's like inspiration from Sonic Unleashed, when they obviously did a region based on Santorini, Greece. I did that. Tried to do a golden circle, but fucking failed. I don't get how it works. I'm not going to pretend I know it. Yeah. Reasons of fence sketch, that's it. Oh, that's what I was looking for. I can't disable it, but just an entire sketch here, basically. And that was like how I planned it out. Because obviously I need a plan of what's it called, make this. Okay, there we go. It's not that great. Can't see it because I've fucking opacityed it. There we go. The original is going to look like this. Plus I've got these bits which end up staying. But a lot of this changed. I was going to have a big building at the back to symmetry break, but I decided on landscape instead. There's a sun there. Yeah. Colours stayed. The island stayed for the most part. But nothing too interesting. Is there anything else? No. What was it? So the first course of action was actually making the background, because usually you start from the background up in a painting at least. Because if you start from the front, it can end up looking a bit off. That's kind of most things in art related stuff, even music, I think. I do know because I made music. I had to start with the background, so I made the ocean, which itself actually looks interesting. What the hell? It's weird how the lack of brush there sort of makes it look good. Symmetry breaker, as I said. Most of the brushes are pre-made, like pixel stain water brushes. I forgot who made the clouds because I have so many of them. And it's like the break the symmetry stars brush. And that's about it for that. Of course I did that, and then I did the first island. I have to disable them first. Go in order. This is the first island. Started with these, and then I realised that drawing it would be taking too long, really. I gave up on that idea. Could have added flowers here, but I'm not good enough to do that, really. Let's try to make it as good as I can, but it's a good symmetry breaker anyway. Because at least you have this sort of perspective and symmetry, like you get the idea that it's going downwards with this. And I did this from memory, no reference, just memory. I'm guessing, I guess. Sort of tell this wonky bit, but it could be a slope. But then I realised that it would take too long, so I made these assets, which I have somewhere. Yeah. Let's rank them. I made all these by hand. I think each one took me about 10 minutes to make, except for this. Just that one. They could take a while, it depends. Yeah, the windmills take a while as well. It's interesting. But because I can't draw in perspective, I just don't know why I can't. It made it a bit tough to make it right. And because of the lack of colour, it does sort of look a bit out of place, but it's fine, I think. Just moving along. Near the bridge to establish it's fancy, and there's like a Zeppelin drop point thing. In my original design, there was going to be hilly pads, but I realised that made no sense because it's trying to be fancy. I looked at it and thought, wait, I thought this was supposed to be fancy. There's probably a story or a game out there that's like that. Technology versus magic. Oh wait, it's Warhammer. So, well, I haven't got into it actually. Of course, going along, I actually started with the back first, stupidly. Lock in the lighthouse, I think I could do that better. I don't know how. It's a bit annoying because I remade it. I'm gonna have wood instead of the white bits, but the wood didn't look good. So I restarted it. Right from the back and got all this detail. I've even done the background here. I did a got a concrete path. Just sort of make it work. Put these up as walls. And I did the trees here, and this is actually higher than this bit at the back. Did a river at the back as well. Some bridges that doesn't look too great. And I like this because it's a symmetry breaker again. It's like split off and there's like a waterfall here, which I thought was really interesting. These bridges are huge for some reason. I don't know why I did that. Okay. I think, yeah, we're best critiques usually when we make art. Speaking on behalf of artists, even though I don't know if I am one. God. And then the clouds were like an aftertouch because I realised you need to establish that it's floating somehow. And that's why the clouds come in. So you can show that it's pretty high in the sky. That's where these shadows come in later on. Then there's Island 2, which is down here. Smaller than this one, but got interesting details. It's got a mountain, got a river, waterfall, whatever you call it. Got a rock there, cliff there. Yeah, the yellow tops were last minute decision. Also, these are a copy and paste of the ones out here. Again, to save time. Because you can't draw this by hand, it's impossible. I'm sort of breaking the rule of magicians all the way. I'm actually sharing all my tricks, but I don't care because I want to make people happy. I want to inspire people, I guess. And I want people to make things that are better than mine, even. Can impress me. Island 3. More of the same, except the lake up here. I forgot to phrase that, but oh well. Nobody will notice. And that's the thing about art, is the detail is what you lose yourself in. If I just didn't have any of these sort of detail on these bits or the buildings, and it would look much different. It would look more sort of cartoony, but it looks anime, and that's how I designed it. Yeah, the Zeppelins are supposed to go in now. Where are they gone? What? Yeah, they're the Zeppelins. Did I render it for that? Yeah, I did. It's good. Bit unsure there. The Zeppelins are bad. I just didn't put much effort into them, and I didn't really know what to do. Could have probably put the stairs there and the logo on the side. I like this design because this is how I used to sort of make them in Minecraft. It was inspired by Shadow of Israel by the Oxcast. And then there's a guy driving it. A fluffy guy. And there's another one. Just flipped and angled a bit. Nothing different here. This Island 3. I like this island because I did a sort of back waterfall. Really interesting. The clouds sort of cover it. Yeah, the assets in it are not interesting, like the buildings together again. Most of it is bloom actually, and it sort of works with the fog as well. Yeah. Being covered by ray. I just love how it connects and how sort of wide it is. It looks really interesting. Yeah, the shadows, I forgot about that. I realised they look too sort of gamey, because in games sometimes they don't render the shadows in distances. And so I basically put shadows under them, onto this stuff. And also, that's the thing. I think if you can simplify it, you can probably detail it. It's a weird thing to say, but that is mostly true. Because with this water, is like what I started with here. I was trying to do all this and stretch it out to make it look good, but then I realised I could use a brush just to do it and make a pattern. And that works. And because I'm using a tablet to draw, I have control over the, I don't know what you call it, pen pusher, that's it. And that can change the size. So I can just make these things as big as I want, as small as I want. It's just going around the usual. I did stars on the background, I forgot about that. Because I like adding stars to the blue sky. Sort of my signature thing to do with backgrounds. And it's a sense of like mystery and wonder. Because the universe is fucking massive. Incomprehensibly so. It makes sense to add that. And then the final island got backward to falling waterfall. Sounds like perfect, but it'll do. Once again, it's covered in clouds and fog. It's got sort of upwards with everything. Yeah. That's pretty much everything to it, and the filter again. Nothing special. Just make a sunset version, which I originally intended. Because that was the original design. Oh well. Yeah. That's it for this, really. It's very complicated in the layers, but it's doable. This is what I mean by simplicity, but yeah. For example, you just need an island folder, a background folder. You have the forefront, which this can go in here, technically. I'm not going to save it though. Look, just 3 folders for 3 separate things. And it's so simple, and you've got the subfolders. I'm obsessed with layers and organisation. I think that's because of my OCD. I just can't stand having things disorganised. That's why I don't think I'd ever become a painter if somehow I couldn't make art anymore on the computer. Just can't stand mess and mistakes. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Any questions, I'm happy to answer. I do appreciate support, and obviously people couldn't download this, so I don't know what the best platform is to upload this to. Because I obviously disabled my Divine Art because of AI art and non-consensual use of my art, but that's a different thing. I don't know where to upload it other than Imgur. I guess I'll do Imgur. I'll put it in the description for people to download, and if there is anyone out there, I could try to give you the assets to sort of wallpaper engine it, but no guarantees. Would be interesting, but I don't know. Honestly, it doesn't look too great to me, like compared to an anime background, which definitely would be better than this. Yeah, I prefer if you work on the anime background, because that's just far better than this. It could be. Yeah, that's why I'm still practicing it. But as I said, this is one of a kind, and I won't practice this anymore because I just want to do it in small portions. Like, I want to focus on characters again and probably do animations. So, yeah, I'll probably only do like this amount of art, most, or like this amount. It depends. backgrounds are tedious, and there's a reason why people end up photoshopping them instead. It's because it's faster, and you can pretty much make anything. But this is hand drawn, and that's something really. It's not going to win award for best image in the wild, but hey, it's honest work. Thousands of brush strokes, and how many gigabytes is it? 81 megabytes. I thought it was going to be more than that. That's interesting. Even all the GIMP file is like just 70 megabyte. What? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's all I have to say.